Hello, and welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers.com podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we're talking with Ben Frank from the hockey hotbed of Orange County, California. Now, when you think about it, you don't really think about Orange County, California as a hockey hotbed, but he's a fellow Canadian and is very involved in junior hockey development in California. And they have a really great program. And so we talked a little bit about where those people come from. You know, he's got a window of about 10 years where people might stick with them all through hockey programs if they start out and progress all the way through. And we talked about stoking the fire, really, of the front end of this by exposing skating, which would be the gateway to hockey, to the parents and 3 and 4-year-old kids. And so we had a good discussion about that because the more those kids are exposed to hockey or exposed to skating and the hockey rink and that environment, the more it would be a natural progression for them to take an interest in hockey, as opposed to the kids who are not exposed to skating. So we talked about that as one of the sort of dig your well before you're thirsty strategies, to know that today's 3 and 4-year-olds are next year's 5 and 6-year-olds. So just going a little bit upstream and widening the pool of people that we get to choose from. So we had a lot of great conversation around this and some other strategies, breaking down his before, during, and after units. And I think you'll enjoy this episode. Ben Frank.
Hi, Dean. How you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm a big fan of yours and Joe's and work, and I'm just excited to be on.
Oh, awesome. I'm excited too. Where are you calling from?
Southern California, Orange County area.
Okay, perfect. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually originally from Toronto, so I don't know if that's where
really?
you are today. But
I just got home from Toronto last night. I was there for 3 weeks, almost a month actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm headed there to visit my parents in a couple of weeks.
Oh, awesome. So that's the hockey connection,
yeah.
I guess. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, explain to me everything that's going on, what you're doing, where we can hatch some evil schemes today.
Okay, great. So my wife and I own a youth ice hockey club here in Southern California. And it's for kids all the way from 4 or 5 years old up through 18. We have an agreement with an ownership of 2 ice hockey rinks. They're about an hour and a half apart from each other, but we don't own the rinks, but we are the exclusive club hockey program for both rinks. So the rinks run their own recreational programs and adult leagues and public skating and things like that, and then we run all the competitive hockey programming. But there's various levels. There's entry levels into it. Kids that they love hockey and they want to get better and play more and a little more seriously, but they're still fairly new, all the way up to elite players that are looking for college scholarships and traveling to the East Coast all the time and things like that. So we have all different entry levels. Excuse me. And so our main things that we offer are those teams, the club teams, and then also we have a private training program. So all of our coaches, we have 2 training facilities in each rink with a gym and also a skating treadmill and mini skating rink and things like that, plastic rink in the facility. And our coaches also do private lessons with kids from within our club that want to get better at their skills and work on their game. Also for kids outside of our club that are in recreational programs or from other clubs or even adult players that want to work on their skills. Wow, that's awesome. So you got the whole. So you got a pretty full immersion program. Yeah. So we have everything from someone who's just kind of like they love hockey and they're just kind of starting and they want to become the best they can be, all the way to, like I said, kids that are working on getting scholarships and things at those levels. And our coaches, we have coaches that have they played in the NHL and been drafted in the NHL or college hockey and things. And we recently this year just also signed an agreement with the LA Kings to become the junior reign, which is they have a minor league team that's close to, it's in Ontario, it's close to one of our rinks, and so we became in name a junior program for them, even though we still run the program ourselves. We'll work with them directly, so our kids will wear their jerseys and name, and they'll come and do promotions at their games and things like that with us as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So where do you think, what's the opportunity that you have, or the thing that you think would help the most here?
Yeah, so some of our biggest challenges, so I've started about 6 months ago, maybe less. I kind of fell upon I Love Marketing podcast, and then found the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast, and the Joy of Procrastination podcast, and the 10X, all these things. I just fell down the rabbit hole and trying to catch up on like 4 years of podcasts and like hours a day.
That's awesome.
So it's been great, and I've started to realize, all that our marketing was just not good. We would just kind of do email blasts just to our lists of, just signups coming up, tryouts coming up, that kind of thing. And I've started to identify more of the different target markets. Obviously, like a 5-year-old kid who loves hockey and wants to play more and become the best they can be is different than a 17-year-old who's trying to get a college scholarship. There's these different target markets that trying to change our marketing up and become the biggest thing is we're actually very different. Our club is very different than most youth sports clubs. We view ourselves as not just a hockey club. My wife and I and our staff are incredibly passionate about sports as being a critical component of kids' lives and what it can do for them, for their life, and beyond, just because we know that less than 1% are going to make the NHL, or even less than 1% are even going to get a college scholarship. And we want to impact their lives in a positive way beyond what might happen later on if they decide to pursue that, or if they have injuries or whatever. We want them to be doctors, lawyers, business owners, all these things. So the challenge we have too is, the challenge we've always had is once people are in our club, we have an incredibly high retention rate and success rate. We have over 90% retention, which is really high for hockey clubs because people jump around a lot. Kids get better. They become more confident. They have more, their parents talk about they do better in school. All these positive benefits of the culture that we've created about what's important, about their growth. And what we haven't done a good job is communicating that to the market, to getting people to understand what we do and how it's different and the value of it, and to come in the right ways. It's kind of the market is all kind of just, let's look which teams are in first place and we'll try out for those teams, kind of thing. So there's two different types of people. There's people that are already playing at the competitive level that may not be educated about how to really set their kid up for the long-term success that we need to reach. And then there's people that might be considering playing hockey at a more serious level. And my challenge is like try to understand the market and the different conversations in their minds and how to reach them in a way that can help them, that we can get in front of them and get them involved in our programs. And generally, once we do that, we do very well with that.
So perfect. So how does it work right now? How do you get business right now? What's your before unit look like?
Well, to be honest, we have email blasts about tryouts coming up. We have
who do you send those email blasts to?
So we have a list. We do have a list of like anyone that does things with us. We capture the information, and then we do have people when they email in. It's mostly been in the past and people that have come to us because they found us on the league website and one of the close rink or whatever, that kind of thing, or people within our rink. So that a lot of our customers actually come from like with the rinks, like I said, have their own recreational like starter hockey programs, and we help out with those. But that's been like the easiest and best ways to grow players because they're already in our rinks, they already have hockey equipment, they're already playing hockey, and then if they really like it, we're the next step for them. So we try to get in front of them, and we actually haven't done the best job of even really connecting with them until recently. We've started to do a better job, but that's a lot of our customers come from people that, like I said, they've started in hockey and now they're kind of ready for the next step, and they're already local.
And so those ones are just kind of organically finding the rink and getting involved on some level, not necessarily through you, but through the rink in getting into that hockey world. And then you have that environment that you have information about your programs and stuff at the rinks, or how do you get there? How do you get these email addresses?
Yeah, so we do have information at the rink, and we have some information on the rink's website as well. Lately, we've been doing the rink's very helpful. So they actually give us the contact information for those people, and we've started to more recently. So in the past, we started to communicate with them. So maybe we'd send them an email with some information about us. That didn't really do that much. But recently, motivated by what I've learned with listening with you guys, I tried something that worked incredibly well. Is that we did free parent presentations for those people in those various programs, where we hosted a parent seminar while their kids were already there. It was easy for them. We went into a little room and we gave them a presentation about how to maximize their kids' potential in hockey, and it was. There was no obligations to it or anything. We just wanted to give them some good information how to help their kid succeed. And at the end of it, and was given by one of our staff, again, who has played Division I college hockey and was an all-star and things, so a lot of value to share. And at the end of it, we offered a free one-on-one private hockey lesson and skills assessment for all of the kids there, saying that because they were a player at our rink, and you wanted to offer that to them again with no obligation. And almost every player signed up for it. And our coaches did those one-on-one lessons with the players, and then sat down with the parents after to give them a kind of assessment of where they were at and went through their goals and things like that. And that really did a great job of people then were now asking us questions about, what they should do next, whether it was right now or whether it was, hey, next year when he gets a little bit bigger and he's more into it. It opened that dialogue, and that was great.
Yeah. Oh, neat. Now, how do you make money on this? How does your business work? Do you get money for people playing at different levels, or what's the what's the price point of things that you sell?
Sure. So the main program we offer is our fall club teams. That's the main season. And so when they sign up for one of those teams, they sign up for essentially it's like a 9-month commitment. So it's a big commitment. It's anywhere, depending. The youngest level is around $3,000 for the year, and up to the highest levels that travel more, it's $6,000 or so. What they do is they put down a deposit, and then they have like a monthly payment that goes out on the first of every month for 9 months, and that's for the fall. So once they join a team, they're in the club. They're with us for 9 months. Hopefully, they're with us for 10 years at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Because they could play with us from 6 to 16 or 7 to 17. And then we have a spring program as well, like an off-season program that's less often. It's more. A couple of months, and we have less structure. It's more keeping the skills up and things like that. And that's maybe about $1,000 total for the off season. And then we have our private training program. So not everyone in our club would do the private training. It's maybe 40% or so that want to do the extra. And some of them will do it maybe just in the off season, or some of them will do it all year round. And so they'll pay about anywhere, depending on how big of a package they buy, anywhere from $40 to $60 per session to do private training with our coaches.
Mm-hmm. And do you do group like clinics or training things in addition to the private, or
they're all they actually do on the skating treadmill. They do groups of up to 2 players at a time, and then on the ice sessions we take up to 8. It's like small groups on the ice sessions because there's only so much ice time for those times.
Right.
And they work on different, like, battling against each other and things like that in those sessions.
Okay. Yeah. And so then where, if we say like 100% of capacity, as every team filled, everything going, where would you put yourself on, like, what's the capacity that you have, or what the subscription or whatever?
We're probably at about 50% capacity.
Okay, so you could double the number of people that you have, and so you're in a situation. How many people is that? How many people are involved in the program right now? That would be your during unit.
About 250.
The people who will sign up for the 9-month program or the spring programs. Yeah,
about 250. So we could essentially double that to 500.
Okay, so you've got 250 people right now that are paying somewhere from $1,000 for a spring program up to $6,000 for the 9-month program. Does that sound right?
Really, they would be from like 3,000 to 6,000. So those people, a lot of those people, the people that would do the spring program are really the same people, maybe, and not everyone.
Okay, great. So there we go. So 250 is your core program is the fall program.
Yeah.
Now, this is what's interesting is because I always look at these, just getting the lay of the land here. You could tell, like, the questions that I'm asking here are, I'm mentally dividing this up into your before unit, your during unit, and your after unit, right? So of the 250, how many were on the book last year? How many of the 250 are in their second or more season?
I would say about 150 to 175 would be return players.
Okay. And is that about normal that they that kind of a retention rate?
Yeah.
Okay. And what would be, like, why would somebody leave? What would happen to the 75 people that dropped off, kind of thing? Would they? How many of them would graduate? Beyond your age group? Yeah.
So we have like our 18-year-old teams. The majority of them will graduate with it's age out. So that's potentially 15 to 20 people right there.
Yeah.
And then we have, and then even at our 16 and under teams, we have kids that will already go, like, they'll go to prep school back east, or they'll even go to junior hockey in Canada or back east. So we'll lose some players that will move on that way.
Gotcha.
And so that would be a good portion of them, and then there's a certain number of players at each age group that either move to a different, further away, that have some, maybe they're not going to play competitive hockey anymore. They're going to do recreational. Maybe there's some financial issues, or they're playing 3 sports now, and they don't want to play 3 times a week. So there's just some a normal amount of drop off there. And then there's some players, we do much better with this, but in Canada, there's a lot of places where you have to play at the club, like, in your area. But here it's a total free market, which I think is good. But people can just change clubs. There's definitely the epidemic here is that a lot of people change clubs every year. We do pretty based on like who the coach is, what the team is, how good the team is, those kinds of what level they're going to make.
Right.
So we do have some people that go down to the next club 20 minutes away, for example, because maybe they're on our B,
or whatever. Yeah.
B team, or maybe they're on our B team and that A team coach wants them or something like that.
I gotcha. Okay. And so in the each year you'll have you'll bring in, of the 250, how many would be new? So you might have 75 or so that are new people coming in. Okay. And so that's right. That's an interesting number, right? Because that is the output of your before unit, right? Your before unit is finding new people and delivering them to the program. And you're right now, it's currently outputting 75 people. Now, is that that number is largely coming from people who are just organically finding the rink and getting involved in how do you typically get those 75 people?
Yeah, it's either at the young ages, at the lower entry club levels, it's people that are already in the rink playing for the recreational program, that now they're really into it, because the recreational program they practice only once a week and they play just at their local rink, and then our program's the next step. So there's those people that they've already either come to us or our coaches have sent them some information and they've engaged. Or there's people, like I mentioned, that actually are at other clubs nearby, or they're playing hockey at the competitive level already, and they've reached out to us because they've had maybe a bad experience or something with the other club and they're looking for something different.
Okay, so from the recreational, you don't run the recreational program. The rink runs that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay,
right,
anybody is doing that. And how many people is that pool? They give you the contact information for those people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they trust us with that. Obviously, we have to be sensitive with the information. But they give us the contact, and it's about, because we're the program for the rink, and they have about 150 people in each rink. So it's 300 total in that recreational program. And that's really just the in-house league. There's another, say, 50 at each place in their learn to play program. So you're looking at about 200 at each rink in those recreational youth programs. So 400 total.
So 400 total, and you're getting 75 of them to...
Well, we're probably only getting, to be honest, 30 of them, and the rest of those people are from because older kids from other clubs that have come over to our club from other places. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so how many do you think there are in the whole area that would be feasible? How do you have a sense of how many hockey players there are?
Yeah,
if you're saying you're getting them from other clubs, is there? What would be the size of the?
There's even just within. So if I look at the one, Riverside is our program that's the biggest of the two rinks, and so I mentioned the recreational players within the rink, about 200, and then there's the next rink over in one direction has probably another 200 players in their competitive program. There's another rink in the other direction that's 20 minutes or so away that has at least another 200 in that program. And then there's a roller hockey rink that's only a few miles away that those kids already are can play hockey and they do well transitioning over, they probably have another 200 to 300. And then there's some other recreation. So just within that one, around that one rink, there's high school hockey. There's probably close to over 1,000 players already that already play hockey, have equipment like hockey, that kind of thing. That would be potential players. And so it would be the same thing at the other rink, maybe even more. There's actually more programs around the other rink. So there's at least 1,000 players that are like within 20 minutes or so of those rinks.
Right.
Each of those.
And you don't have contact information for those people though, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So that would be, that's where part of it is, right? Where you've got that opportunity. Yeah, I'm interested, like, you think about it when what it really comes down to is two things, right? You've got to be able to get access to more of the existing hockey players within that area. And long term, if it was possible to increase the number of 5, 6, 7-year-olds that are getting involved in hockey, is that number, do you think, going up or down?
I think it's going up. I think we have a big opportunity now as well with our relationship with the Reign, that the pro team that's close by, because they've said that we can, they're going to send out information for us. They're going to share stuff to their pages. They're going to let us set up a booth and things at their games. They're going to do a lot of, because they want to grow hockey players as well. And
right. Everybody
so there's a huge opportunity there, and then if we have certain marketing, I think they will share it for us.
Yeah. So one of the cool things, like I'm just thinking out loud here, that if I look at it for those 1,000, that you don't have contact information for, what could you do that would be kind of a magnet that would get you, contact information for those? Is there anything where there would be, do you ever do any like skills competition type of things where?
We haven't. No, we haven't.
It'd be interesting, right? Where if you had, when I was growing up, there was the Knights of Columbus would have a basketball, a pass, dribble, and shoot competition, and it would just be days of drills and competitions where you would have, you'd shoot 10 free throws, and you'd do some passing drills, and you'd do some different shots. So you would get a score, overall score, and it'd be like a competition, a tournament where you'd advance, and somebody would be crowned the winner of each age group, and that, I'm thinking about that as a opportunity to, if you were to have a competition like that and open it up to the entire area, that some of those people from the other areas, the other arenas that you don't have contact information for, that would be a way to get some registrations there to have contact information, and get them experiencing coming over to your rink and getting an eye on them. Now you've got a way to communicate with them,
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Or
yeah, no, totally. And I know that it's funny that I know the Ducks. So out here, the pro teams have started getting a lot more involved in youth hockey, and I know that the Ducks for years have done a few things like that. They did this like one breakaway challenge thing that's open to the entire hockey community. And so I
Right.
think the thing that's kind of interesting though is I think like if when you just do stuff like that as as your club, that's
Uh-huh.
what comes across as the whiskers, you know, because
Right.
people are
But that's
very
what I'm
like,
saying is not as
yeah,
the club, right? In a way.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, not
yeah,
as the
exactly,
club, as somebody who's creating, it's a hockey development thing,
yeah, 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 yeah. No, definitely, it's a good idea. Yeah, I tried. Well, one thing that I tried that didn't work so well yet, and I think I need to change it up. I sent over to you. I tried a promotion for. I did write a consumer awareness guide for Parents Guide to Choosing a Southern California Youth Hockey Club.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it was a great exercise to go through. And I did make some postcards and I put them out at the rinks, and then I put an ad in. This is something called the Rubber Magazine, which is it goes out to all the rinks. It's like a newspaper type thing that goes to all the rinks,
Mm-hmm.
and also
Mm-hmm.
they also have it. They also email it out to their whole list, which has a lot of people on it. So I
Yeah.
put something there. We got some people that filled out the form, but not many.
Right.
And so I think sometimes what I struggle with is it's interesting that you mentioned like a skills competition or something, because I think what I struggle with sometimes is figuring out what people want, like what would actually compel them to
Right.
engage.
Whereas, and that's the whole thing. When you get into like a consumer awareness guide is a lead conversion tool, right? It's more of a convincing tool than a compelling tool. And
Right.
so when you look at it is like, yeah, what would be the thing that would, um, be a compelling thing that would get hockey players to want to be part of this, and that could be, prizes or the celebrities, or having
Mm-hmm.
somebody, along with it, a clinic from one of the Kings players or one of the Reign players or whatever,
Yeah.
just to gather to get that sort of, those sort of, that exposure, so you've now at least have a visible prospect.
Yeah. And then how do you? Because like let's say we had something where the Kings, of the Reign hosted some skills competition. They had like
Yeah.
a mascot come out and their a player appearance,
Yeah.
and we got all these people there.
Right.
And then we hit them with an email about joining our club or something. They might be like feel like cheated or something, like almost, how do you?
No, I doubt. No, that's kind of, I don't think that you're going to run into a problem like that. That there's, I think that if you're moving into then your Profit Activator 3, where you've got the opportunity to, put together a flagship kind of communication, where it's, where you've got a weekly email or video or some sort of hockey development content, and you can use that email along with, you can have your super signature, I call it, the PS and the information that you send every time you send out the email. Like if you look at the way that, the way I do this with More Cheese, Less Whiskers, is every email goes out, valuable content, and then plus, whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways I can help you hatch some evil schemes for your business, right? And I offer people, be a guest on the show, or try the Profit Activator scorecard, or be part of our email mastery program, or work with me one-on-one, or I'm doing these mastermind events. And so it's just a carrier to let people know about all the things that you have going on, but it's going to the right audience because they're hockey players, you know?
And it's non-threatening because, like you said, you're giving. I read those emails that you send out, and you're giving valuable content, and so you're starting to develop that relationship and that level of trust, and where they can reach out to you if they want.
That's
more.
Exactly right.
Harassing them, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. You know, whenever you're ready, whatever is going on. Here's the announcements. Here's what's going on. Tryouts for the fall program are starting here. You know, click here for the details, or whatever makes sense. You know, and then also sending 9-word emails to people. You know, saying that. You know, if you're saying the thing, if you're sending somebody an email the Monday after they did the skills competition that weekend, and you say, say, hey Ben, it was great to meet you at the skills competition, or whatever you want to call it, and then ask them a question. You know.
Yeah. That's right. Well, for a question on that one, so I know that to use the 9-word email for people maybe that have reached out to us in the past for private hockey training or something, I could send something saying, you know, hey, John, are you still interested in hockey lessons or something? But for someone who came to a skills competition, I wonder what that question would be.
Might be, are you, you might want to ask them, are you playing anywhere this fall, or are you part of a club, or are you, we're having tryouts in the next week, or whatever, we're having tryouts starting next month for our program. Would you like to join us? Just an invitation, even, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes it seems so simple, but it's, yeah.
I mean, and really it is, though. I mean, that's part of the thing, is that you're thinking about it, that the first thing that you have to do is get involved in identifying the people who are players, who really want to. And anybody who's like on that track where they're going to be playing elite hockey, they live for, unique, fun things to be able to do around that,
Yeah, I think that was my problem. I think I wasn't getting the right cheese, I think
right.
People, I think a lot of them, the thing is that people that are playing competitive hockey already, the kids and the parents, they already feel like they know, like, a lot,
Mm-hmm.
So they may not. I mean, I think that you can definitely, if you can already get them to engage, and you're sending out valuable content, you can educate over time on certain things once you've gained their trust. But I think to compel them initially is maybe where maybe it comes across as like, well, I don't need that or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. It has to be something more exciting, more that they really. I think maybe that's coming across as whiskers. Yeah.
Right. And those things with the all those consumer awareness guides, it's got to be very carefully done, because it's very easy for it to come across as, here's 5 reasons you should buy from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's the thing. So when compelling is valuable information,
Yeah.
and or fun, or something, something that they would want to do, that they would want to, if there are, prizes for, really great prizes for the things,
I was listening to your I think your last podcast with the gentleman that does the sealer for the driveways and things.
Yes.
And you mentioned the gift cards. So we've been doing some Facebook ads recently. We need to improve, I think, the ads, but we've been getting some traction. But I'm wondering if, like, something where, because we offer this, one of my questions is we started offering that free hockey lesson and skills assessment, but only, like, we didn't really promote it. We just offered it to those specific groups that we did presentations with within the rink. And I'm wondering if I was careful. I didn't know how public I wanted to make it because I didn't want to devalue, and I also want to screen the people somewhat to, I want to get the right people to come through that. So I'm unsure if I should maybe do like a gift card ad or something like that for private hockey lessons, if that might be, or if I want to stick to a compelling lead magnet first, more of an information or special thing, and then offer those other things that on the back end, offer the free lessons or the gift cards on the back end once people have kind of qualified themselves.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want to get the right person, right? That's what we look at it from. If you look at it that you really have a closing window, like you've basically, the best case scenario is that you get somebody at 6 or 7, right? Or 5, 6, 7 in that age, that you get somebody then and they become a lifetime hockey enthusiast, right? Like, it's less likely that you're getting 14-year-olds switching over to play elite hockey, because that's not how it works, right? It's not a sport that you pick up at 14 and then jump right into elite levels, right? And
it's a lot harder. You got to get them from another club, and that it's harder. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But it's interesting, if you take the long view of this, that right now, by in 10 years, every single prospect that you have right now is gone, and you've had to develop new ones, right? But you look at it right now, if you even go upstream, that the ones that are the 3 and 4-year-olds now are the ones that are going to be the 5 and 6-year-olds that are starting to play hockey now, right? And I think about it, that the ones that decide to play hockey are probably the ones that get exposed to it as a possibility, right? And if you think about maybe having programs as part of this, with working with the rink kind of thing, to just get mothers or fathers to bring their kids skating. That's the gateway to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they can skate, then, and they're athletic, then the next level is a kid's gonna want to play hockey.
Yeah, totally. And that's I think something else that I've struggled with is we work with the rink, and we help them with some of those programs, and there's some great entry points there. We help them start a free learn to play hockey program where kids can come and borrow the equipment and skate and with coaches for free for 4 weeks. So we have some great entry points there. And I want to plug the rink into the Ontario Reign promotions and stuff in the community to get more kids into it. But I guess I've struggled on, should I focus on, because the players that just
focus
start
on hockey. Yeah, I wouldn't focus on hockey initially. Like, I think especially with the preschool age kids, that's going to be, like, we're not talking about too far away. I mean, we're talking about 1 or 2 seasons kind of thing. Like, you're backing up one level that's laying the groundwork for next season. I mean, the good thing is that we know with 100% certainty that someone who's 4 this year is going to be 5 next year and 6 the year after that. We know that absolutely to be true, right? So it's and if you start to think, like, what would be the gateway, right? How could we get them really into that? How could we expose them to skating, which would be the gateway to it? And the interesting thing is, I heard Gary Vaynerchuk said something really interesting because he wants to buy the New York Jets, and somebody asked him, well, what would you do if you owned the Jets right now? And he said, because when he first moved to America, he went out into the neighborhood, meeting the kids in his neighborhood, and they were all playing football. And they asked him, are you a Jets fan or a Giants fan? Right? Because that was the thing in New York, that you have choices. And he said, I don't know. And they said, well, you're a Jets fan then. And then his mother knit him this Jets sweater with his name and the number on the back. And it was his most prized possession, And he said, so what he would do if he owned the Jets right now is he would send a Jets jersey to all the 5 and 6 year old kids in the tri-state area.
Yeah,
to lock them in early as right. And that's kind of an interesting thing. So when you start to think about this, if we look at the gateways, if we can get somebody in skating, and you can then, if get them excited about hockey, and they get to see and meet players, or get a jersey, or get something that they're exposed to hockey in a positive way, that their first there's a great book by Clotaire Rapaille called The Culture Code. Have you heard about that book?
No, I haven't. The
Okay.
Culture Code?
Yeah. And Clotaire Rapaille talks about how for everything in our lives, we have an imprint. We have a first impression of something that drives everything, every decision that we make, And he works with big companies, big Fortune 100 companies, and they hire him to figure out what's the code for a particular product. And some company hired him to go into Japan and to help them figure out why they couldn't get traction in the coffee market in Japan. And part of what he discovered was that Japanese culture is not a coffee culture. It's more of a tea culture. And so kids don't have any natural imprint of coffee, of what place that is and what that holds. And what he recommended to them is to start a children's dessert that has coffee flavor in it, to imprint an entire generation flavor of coffee.
Wow. That's
Right,
an evil scheme for you.
That is an evil scheme, but it's a company thinking 10, 15 years ahead, right? Because the kids today are going to turn into adults who are going to be coffee drinkers. And the 3 and 4 year olds today, if you can get them skating, which would be a fun activity for the something with that, or kids be and expose a possibility of playing hockey.
I'm sorry, dude. It scrambled for the line scrambled for a minute. I think I got you back. It was
Yeah, so I'm saying how the more 4-year-olds that learn to skate, that they're going to be to that environment, to skating is fun, to I want to now have a stick, and it becomes the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess one of the reasons I struggled with that in the past, I agree that's where the big market is. Like the market there becomes huge.
Right.
All the young kids. I guess I struggled because theoretically, the people that come into the rink as 3 or 4 year olds to just maybe to skate aren't necessarily our customers for some time or maybe ever, and we don't really have as much control over those customers and their experience in the rink programs and things like that. So I was
right.
wondering
but
if
your programs start at 6, right?
Yeah, we have some 5-year-olds, but 5 or 6, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about, are you going to be in business in 2 years? Right. Is that your...
Yeah, I sure hope.
That's just the fact.
Of course, yeah.
That's just the fact that they're not imprinting. It's not new 6-year-olds that are all of a sudden coming out, or 5-year-olds. Is that it's that moving parade, right? There are 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, even if it's just 1 year back, right? If you just started with 4-year-olds, for instance, that investment in exposing skating to more 4-year-olds is going to increase the crop size of the 5-year-olds that are interested in hockey.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, if there's
which has a ripple down effect, right? Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm talking about that the skills competition and stuff is going to get you the older kids that are already hockey players, right? The ones who are 7 to 10, 10 to 12, that kind of thing. And that's going to be something that could expose you. Yeah. And, and it may even, I may even look at going down something and creating like a street hockey league, to get kids exposed to hockey itself. And then they just need to learn to skate and take that onto the ice kind of thing,
Totally. No, that's great. I actually, one of the roller hockey rinks, the Ducks own a bunch of, the Anaheim Ducks own some of the rinks in Orange County, and they actually bought a couple of roller hockey rinks, which I thought was genius too. And they started, and I always said, I used to work at one of them actually, and I always said that they should start street hockey league too because you already have the roller hockey rinks they're already a floor, right? And you have and you don't, the kid doesn't even have to know how to skate. You just show up and you give them a stick and they play, right? And they just started that,
right?
So it's really smart. So now the Ducks own these roller hockey rinks that have street hockey, and then they have roller hockey, which is, again, you don't need as much equipment and it's cheaper. And then they have the ice hockey rink too. They're growing like crazy. Yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah, but there is a roller hockey facility like 10 minutes from us that I actually used to work at that I've thought about maybe doing some partnerships or things with them. I don't think they started a street hockey league, but maybe we could even do it or something there.
Well, exactly. When you start thinking outside of the box, and you start connecting the dots, that there's, just even if it were like, starting with that you offer something for preschools, to be able to bring their kids in for a skate day, for parents to come in with the skate day. Like it really becomes, where are the 3 and 4 year olds, that you can get access to, and that's a fun kind of thing that is definitely going to have a payoff in next season or the next few seasons. All the while still looking at doing the things that are going to help you take the get some exposure to kids from other clubs right now who are already hockey players. That's where something like the skills competition would come in.
Yeah, so you have that. Yeah, no, so you have two different kind of target markets, and you have two different campaigns, really, or types of cheese, right? Whereas maybe,
because that's really
the
what
older
it's
kids
about.
are already playing.
Yeah, that's what it's about, is finding. You're going to do multiple things, many pillars, not just one kind of thing. It all works together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, so for the older kids, it's a skills competition or pro player appearances and that kind of thing. And then for 3 and 4 year olds, it's the skating with mommy and dad, or we might even be able to do some stuff where I know they do some stuff sometimes at the pro rink during like intermissions, where like you can have kids or families come skate on the ice before the game or after the game at the big pro rink, and that might be something really cool to plug into. And people go to that game and they watch the Ontario Reign, and then we're the Junior Reign. It's like a connection already. Yeah. We want them to become fans there. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Then the other thing that I was going to ask about was whether you do any, if there's an opportunity for camps or training or, clinics and stuff like that, where it's outside of just the program itself, that you have skill development weekends or camps or.
I think the mistake we made actually is, usually that's what's in the off season, and we used to actually have an open skills clinic every week as well, but we started doing more like more of a closed kind of program, where even our spring program is for people that they signed up for our entire spring program with our club, and we used to have more like, in the off season especially, would be drop-in skills clinics and 3-on-3 sessions and things like that were, $20 or $25, and anyone can just show up. And we went away from that because we wanted to deliver a really great program, and we wanted to know who was going to be there, and wanted to plan it out and to offer the perfect kind of development environment. But what I did was, I think our own people did it, but it made it, for someone who wanted to come check us out and try a skills clinic, it was, a $1,200 spring program sign up, and so unless they were really sure that they wanted to come play with us, then they weren't going to come,
Right.
So I was realizing that that's probably, we need to have those opportunities where people can come just check us out or just do some skills with us, even if they don't want to come play club with us right now.
Right. That might be a good opportunity there,
I was even thinking if we should have because we used to have a weekly skills clinic drop in year round, and we had kids from other places that would come, and one of the reasons we stopped doing it was because we became a model association by USA Hockey, which is awesome, because we meet all their development guidelines, which means that we practice way more now. So we keep a 3-to-1 practice to game ratio. So in the past we had a lot of clubs only have 1 or 2, only have 2 practices per week, and then we offered an optional clinic Whereas now all of our people
Mm-hmm.
already have quite a bit of practice, so we stopped offering that extra one, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
what I realized though is that then now we're not bringing new people in, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so that may be a nice,
cost.
that might be a nice addition. And then what are you doing to orchestrate referrals? Because you do kind of have a closed thing, but those guys would be hanging out with their friends that play hockey as well.
Yeah. We're not doing much. We're not doing much.
Okay.
Not deliberately, not intentionally anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. But that could be interesting where, like country clubs will often have like a member guest that it might be an interesting thing if you had your fall league or your spring league have a member guest 3-on-3 tournament kind of thing where you can bring, team up with some of your buddies or whatever who may not be on that team, but maybe they're playing somewhere else kind of thing, but they're friends.
Mm-hmm. Where you can bring, what is it? So how do they do it when they do a member guest? It's basically like someone brings in, they can bring in a friend.
Like a member guest, you put in a team. Yeah, exactly. Where it's a golf tournament where it's, 2-man teams and a member will get a guest to be on their team.
Yeah. So they have to, they have to bring in, like they can't just do 2 members on a team. They have to bring in a
exactly
for that event. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a way of that's a profit activator 8. That's a way of orchestrating referrals.
It's certainly one because you know who they are, right? It's a way to get them to you get exposure to they know other hockey players that you don't know.
Okay, yeah. I was just thinking, see, it's funny, like I was just thinking more just, when you ask people for referrals or you ask them for reviews, for example, but there's creative ways to do it.
Yes. That might be a fun way,
Yeah. I'm just taking
or even if you just had those clinics and you allowed people to bring a guest if they wanted to,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like even for the clinics or for the private training, like with the groups where we take 2 people for a group, where they can, they can bring a friend and do the session together.
Yeah, that might work.
Right.
Well, there we go. So hit me with what's your what's your notes here? What's your takeaway?
So my takeaways are that I think I got a lot more clarity on the two main separate groups being that of target markets being the players that are already playing hockey near us, and the people that are not yet, the bigger market of players that are coming into that age that are not yet exposed to hockey. And the 2 different strategies to put in place, the one that's for exposing and growing now, and the one that's for that long-term bigger plan. And I could see, we talked about capacity. I can see the first market of the people that already play, that could help us grow a little bit, but to really to double in size, the exciting opportunity is that huge group of 3 or 4-year-olds in the whole area that could be more of them could be hockey players. If the rink has 500 people in the recreational programs, we're going to grow just because of that. So that was a big takeaway. So having those 2 plans in place and getting them in place and automating them and getting them going consistently.
Yes.
I love the idea of like a skill. I think also the takeaway for me is understanding the cheese better for those people that are already players. So like a skill or something exciting for them. To get them engaged. Yeah.
Like imagine if the prize package was like some, an experience, some VIP tickets to a Kings game and some, a meet and greet or something, or some equipment package, or something, some prizes for being the winner of the skills competition.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, that's what's gonna get people excited to come to a different rink or something like that. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's great. And then I wrote down the culture code by Clocaire Rapai. I think it is off the search.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy that.
But I can see just those couple of insights of really identifying those two markets and then having a plan of attracting those two different markets and putting that plan in place long term. I can see that making a huge difference.
That's awesome. And then, part of, we didn't talk about this, but you need a flagship, like, weekly email, video, podcast, something that is, that's aiding the development of junior hockey, that everybody would get a lot out of content wise, and have that as your vehicle to then have all of your announcements and all of your, here's what to do next.
Yeah, for sure. That's huge. And that's another big thing on my mind lately is I want to do a podcast, and then we can use the content. Like I heard you talked a lot about, you can transcribe it and then do blogs or newsletters and things like that, and emails from that.
Well, all those emails.
So I already have.
Yeah, all those emails. All the emails that I send are, like, all those content, all the articles that I send are taken from the transcripts of the podcast.
Right. You don't have to double everything. You don't have to do all that extra. Yeah, right. That's great. And so you recommend weekly?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then another thing, I guess the thing that I'm sometimes confused as well. So I wonder, you and Joe talk a lot about not being whiskers, where it's like it doesn't necessarily, we don't necessarily need to be branding Junior Rain and like that stuff. It could be more from me. Is that like the value stuff there? Like, because you don't want to hit people over the head with brand and logoing and things like that, right?
Right. Yeah, no, it's not about that. It's about, for the 3 to 4-year-olds, it's about come on out and skate. It's like, that's the thing. And it's unfair. It's some of those kids at that, what 3 and 4-year-olds are into now is going to shape what they do throughout their whole child. All parents are looking for is, what's my kid's thing? And if they're not exposed to skating, they might not be exposed to hockey, but it's also goes the other way, that if they are exposed to skating and they like it and they've got a natural ability for it, then they're in the rink and they're seeing the environment. And boy, Johnny really loves skating and he loves to get out there on the ice. I think maybe he should do hockey. That conversation is going to happen more often than the kids who, get exposed to surfing or skateboarding or whatever they're doing at 3 and 4,
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's totally what happens. And that's, you're right. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter, and you're right. That's parents, that's what you just want the kid to find, that thing that they love and that that's totally true. And if you take them somewhere and they love it or they're doing well with it, you'll want to do anything you can to support that.
And it's such a short window, because even if a kid, like yourself, hockey is, the earlier you start, the advantage you have, and it's unlikely that the longer that goes, a 9 and 10-year-old, there's not a lot of 9 and 10-year-olds picking up hockey for the first time and then excelling at it,
Yeah, you can definitely, it's a late development sport. You can definitely late bloom kind of thing, but it's such a, like
Yeah,
skating and things like that, it's such a specialized skill, right? It's not like
that's
other
it.
sports like run, jump, and throw. Yeah.
That's
So,
right. That's what I mean. It's like you can have athletic ability and stuff, but the skating part is the ones who develop. The skating has to be just natural, just a natural thing of movement, and then you can concentrate on the skill development and stuff. I mean,
totally.
you're from Canada. We're brought into it at such a young age, and it's like mandatory military service. You got to play
I was born.
hockey.
I was born with skates on.
Yeah,
That's what I tell people. I was born
exactly.
with skates on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not happening in Orange
for
County. Naturally.
Right.
You have to introduce that.
Awesome. Well, final question. I think we're over time.
Okay.
Do you still recommend like a formal newsletter format type thing, or should I just
Yeah, I love that too.
do less? Okay, yeah, because I've looked at
I love that too. Yeah.
World's most interesting. Maybe I could put the newsletter out at the rinks and things too, physically out
Absolutely.
to people to
Yes.
grab.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've seen the world's most interesting postcard and things like that. I don't know if it's like something for this that should just stick to like hockey information, or if it should be something like
it could.
Like
you
that.
could absolutely. I mean, depends on what it's for, but you could definitely go with hockey skills or trivia or hockey related stuff. All very exciting.
Yes, and I know you work with a guy that does the hockey scholarships and stuff too. So it's cool to see, like, you have the golf guy, and then there's obviously carpet cleaners and real estate agents. It's really cool to see how
fun, right? So many different businesses.
Similar. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome,
Great.
Ben. Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
Hear get the updates.
Awesome. That would be great. Yeah, I definitely will. Thank you so much. I'll, as we get some of the stuff going, I'll send you over some examples of how it's working, and hopefully I'll get to meet you in person at one of yours or Joe's events in the future.
Awesome. That'd be great. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
And there we have it. Another great episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. You can download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book. And if you'd like to see how the 8 profit activators are affecting your business, you can go to profitactivatorscore.com. Take our Profit Activator scorecard and you'll see where the big opportunities are for you. And then maybe we will see you at one of the live mastermind groups that I'm doing this fall in Orlando at Celebration. If you'd like to find out how you could spend 3 days in a small group, 8 to 10 people, all around a boardroom table, spending 3 days hatching evil schemes, just like the way we talk about on the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast, just send me an email and put Orlando in the subject line. Email is dean@deanjackson.com. And I will look forward to seeing you at one of our Breakthrough Blueprint events in person. Otherwise, I will talk to you next week, same time, same channel, with another great episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.